Hello, this is Heather Hoffman, and today I have a simple Copic coloring technique that I call color flicking. It works really well on floral images, and it's a great way just to simply add a little bit of color, a little bit of texture without having to do a lot of work and a lot of detail coloring. The image I'm using for this is from the June 2018 sentiment kit. It's called Every Single Day, and it's a large floral image. It's beautiful. You can see it mostly fills the front of my A2 card. 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm using my Misty to stamp it with a Copic friendly ink. I'm using Simon Says black ink. I'm using my Misty because I like to stamp it several times to get a super crisp black impression. And I like to set it aside to dry for just a couple minutes before I start using my Copics. It doesn't take very long, but it will start to smear a little bit if you don't wait at least a few seconds on this particular ink. Now for each of these, I'm picking my Copic color. For the first main center floral image, I'm using R22, and I'm starting in the center of each petal, and you notice just flicking out towards the outer corner, not filling in the entire image, leaving some white space. That's going to add a little bit of your texture to the color and make the florals look a little more realistic, but in a very simple way. The next color I'm using is YR04, a great orange, and I'm going to do that one floral up in that corner, and then I'm going to pull out my B02 to do that flower in that edge. And once again, on this one I'm doing the outer petals, and then I'm going to do the inner petals with just teensy tiny flicking on that because it's a very small petal, and making sure to leave some white space in between. I'm going to pull out again that YR04 and make that bottom right flower the same color, just to kind of add some balance to the card. And for the same reason, I'm going to pull that blue again out, the B02, and do the other flower in the bottom left corner. That way that gives me 2 orange, 2 blue flowers, and then the main center one. And then I'll pull out a little bit of a yellow, Y15, that'll add just a tiny bit of detail to some of the center of the flowers. And finishing off my image with the green for the leaves. And I'm doing the same technique with that one. The green Copic I'm using is YG03, and for each of those, again, I'm just starting at the base of the leaf and flicking out, and again leaving some white space. I love just the simple detail it adds. You don't really have to practice and blend or do anything else. It's just a very simple coloring technique. Pretty much foolproof. Final touch, I'm pulling out one of my favorite warm gray Copics. This is W1. It's a nice soft, just adds a little bit of a shadow effect. This image in particular has some detail around, so going over it a little bit with the warm gray just kind of helps that pop a little bit off of my plain white background. I'm keeping the background pretty simple. I just want this card to be have a lot of white space around the edges. I know it's got a large focal image in the center, but leaving everything else simple and almost one layer kind of lets the florals shine and draws your eyes right into them without too much effort. So again, once I've kind of outlined everything, I'm using the gray just to kind of hit some of those details in the stamped image. And there's the colored, and I have a little sentiment from the same stamp set that I've already heat embossed on a little strip of black cardstock. And that's just, I'm going to pop that up with a tiny bit of thin foam adhesive. You probably don't have to worry about a teensy tiny spot like that. I just had to be anal and fix it. So there we go, and I'll pop that up over right on my card base, so it's nearly a 1-layer card. Very simple coloring. Anybody can do it. Can't wait to see what you try when you try this technique. Thanks so much for stopping by. Have a great day.